Hey everybody, welcome to the Man Alone Solo RPG YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about Cartograph, the Atlas Edition by Brandon Lee, but you will notice that my waffle graphic graced the screen, which means that we're going to have to start with a little bit of off-topic waffling before we dive in, and it's a good thing. I think you're going to like this. So as some of you may know, my fiance and frequent Man Alone Members Only podcast co-host, BB, bought me a very, very special present for our anniversary, which is on Halloween. And that was the Mothership, let me grab it, deluxe set, which... Look, all I got to say is she's taken, okay? Yes, I know I should have just called a bunch of people in the restaurant to serve as witnesses right then and there and just done the wedding right away. But, you know, we want to go through everything, want to make sure it's right. The family's got to be there. People we know have to be there. However, because of that, that means that the Mothership Core Set, which I fawned over in a video not too long ago, is now, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my life, has been rendered irrelevant, has been rendered, let's see, what do you call that when it's like a duplicate or it's a redundancy. That's exactly what it is, okay? And so because everything in this set is available in the deluxe set, the deluxe set just has some extra features and a couple extra supplements, but everything in here is as good as it was on the day that it was presented on the channel, because mostly I was just using my other version. I was playing online and I never opened the dice. You have the stands. All of the standees are in their original cardboard casing. This is an incredible set. You have your poster for ship-to-ship combat. You have these standees and tokens. You have this awesome little GM screen. And you have another bug hunt. You have the unconfirmed contacts report, Warden's operation manual, player's survival guide, shipbreaker toolkit, and all of this is it's one of the best box sets out there, and I want to make it yours. And so I've been thinking over recently what I wanted to, how I wanted to give this away. You know, what kind of, because I could just do like a sweepstakes where people enter in. I could say, oh, you got to join, you got to become a member. And I mean, you should already want to do that. You know, if you can't find it in yourself to become a member, that's nothing that this is going to fix. That's something that you got to talk to clergy, therapist, financial advisor, whatever it is. However, I finally figured out what the contest I would like to do is. And that contest is as both a solo player, devoted solo player, as well as a devoted card boy. I want a piece of the card Oracle GM card, solo card action, right? And so obviously we have the Game Master's Apprentice deck here. Probably one of the best in the game. Very soon I'm going to be doubling the size of this when I add the sci-fi set, which is on the way. And these have incredible inputs here. You know, you got your different dice rolls, you got odds, you got names. You could have a character named Garth or Kaylee. You could be diligent. You can lose the ability to speak. I mean, every single one of these cards, just absolutely fantastic. I'm looking for something a little more specific, a little more, well, stupid. And because of that, I am now announcing a contest that will go from between now when you see this video to December 25th. And if you are everyone will be able to submit something. However, if you are a subscriber to the channel, you get one submission. If you are a member of the best friend level, which is $1.99 a month, you get 2 submissions. And if you are part of the SEAL Team Waffle Alpha, which is at $3.99 a month, you get access to the podcast, the eventual Discord that is in development hell, but not forever. You'll get 3 submissions, okay? And the submissions are going to be, I will put the link below. These submissions are going to be the dumbest solo Oracle submission form possible, okay? And what I'm talking about is rather than having all of these options on the card, I want it to be like, hey, I walk into a room and what do you find? And you shuffle the deck and you have disturbed the eternal slumber of Ron, or Ham has occurred. Then I'm going to have you put either your YouTube handle or whatever you want to go by. Suppose your name is Ham Fiesta 5130. And the idea is, I'm looking to get 52 of these, is that out of all the submissions, I'm going to choose up to 52 of them. I mean, I'll fill in the ones that don't get filled in, but up to 52 to be part of the deck with your name on it. But 2 of them are not only going to be part of the deck, they're also going to get a prize. So the first prize, if you live in North America, is going to be the Mothership Core Set, sent straight to your home. If you're not in North America, we'll give you a Drive-Thru-RPG gift card, as well as a copy of Called to the Green, my solo Dragonbane supplement, which just reached 100 purchases on Drive-Thru-RPG. Extremely excited about that. Please check that out in the link below as well. I mean, it's over 50 pages, folks. It's an incredible supplement. And then second place, assuming you live in North America, will be a Mothership signed copy of the original player's survival guide that Man Alone himself used to play through my many campaigns of Mothership. I promise I did see if this marker worked, but it's anyways, so it says congrats Doug, and I marked off Doug, and I promise you that, you know, I'll put your name here. Okay, so that will say congrats to whoever. I could sign this as well, I guess, if the person who wins wants it. I just feel a little bit worse about this. This thing, you know, it's been slapped around, but this is the genuine article. And one day when I have 300 million followers, you could sell this thing for, I don't know, I'm guessing $65,000. And because it's a 2018 version, I don't know how far back that goes. I'm also going to include the conversion kit in there just to bring everything up to speed with the current edition here. So we'll include that as well. And again, if you're outside the U.S., we'll send you either a copy of Called to the Green or a $10 gift card to Drive-Thru-RPG. Now, everybody else, though, you have a chance to win by getting your submission and name on the card. So your submission, which is up to 30 words, let's review again. 1 if you're a subscriber, 2 if you're best friend level, 3 if you're a SEAL Team Waffle Alpha. Your idea will be your submission. And just to be clear, that's your submission. It is you submit it understanding that you sort of like are entering a contest, and I'll write this on the form. You are not assuming that you will then one day form a class action lawsuit against me and say, actually, I want a piece of the action. I mean, I guess you could sue me, but like you can only divide $6 up so many times, which is, I estimate after production and everything, what the profit will be on this. This will be due on noon, Christmas Day, Eastern Standard Time. So please get those submissions in. If anyone exceeds the word limit or the submission limit, you are not only disqualified, but you also should be ashamed of yourself. So that concludes our waffling for today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed. So let's get back to the action. Cartograph, the Atlas Edition, a solo role-playing game of map-making and discovery by Brandon Lee. I assume not the deceased son of Bruce Lee. Rest in power. Rip to a real one. The original Crow was greatest of all time. I don't know why I'm saying this. This is not that person. Brandon Lee sent me a copy of this for review. And this is a very, very nice feeling, nice and heavy hardcover book with a little tail. And it's from Ravens Ridge Press, and included inside is a beautiful Ravens Ridge Press business card. And I guess if you want to look up more, you can do the little magic eye thing or whatever this is. And also a nice, very Manalone coated postcard that I added a little of my own message on there. Too much vinegar, not enough vinegar. Too creamy, not creamy enough. A little bit sweet. Coleslaw should be a little bit sweet. And then also, I guess what is an example map of what can be made in the game. And I think this is a great map to include because a lot of what is encouraged in this game is like not worrying about being the greatest illustrator or anything of all time. This is a very nice map, but it shows what you can do with very little illustration skills, right? Just like a little bit of lines and squiggles, and eventually you have something that's really beautiful. There is a journaling aspect to this game, and so we're going to see if this game is able to break the Manalone curse of, I just haven't had a lot of success with journaling games as of late, folks. And so from what I've seen in here, this has some things that are setting it apart as far as journaling goes, and I think this might be a winner because, well, we'll see. But here's basically the risks with journaling games, the two extremes. On one end, I don't like playing journaling games where the journaling seems so trite and forced that I find myself saying, why am I journaling? It seems like the journaling aspect is just sort of tacked on to the game. I also don't like when it goes in the other direction and the journaling prompts are so wide open and so frequent that I almost feel like I'm making a game for somebody else. You know, I think a lot of it comes down to preference, so I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but I have developed a bit of an ornery husk about journaling games that say, oh, you walk into a room. What's in the room? Oh, there's a dark forest. What's going on there? It's like, I need more than that, or I just don't feel like I'm actually playing a game. I just feel like I'm making a game for you. And what I'm really excited about with Cartograph here is that there seems to be a gameplay cycle, some resource management stuff, some prompts, and I think most impressively, some very not an afterthought, like some very well thought out options for like non-journaling. And I'll see if I can find these really quickly here. Non-authoring mode. And this involves what I think is a really, really clever system of, instead of like filling out full sentences or paragraphs, you're just going to reduce them down to tags. And if you've ever played a sort of game book or anything like that that involves tags, you use these tags to determine different, do you go to path A or B? If you have this tag, you go on path A. If you don't, you go to path B, etc. There's also skill tests that you could use with that. So it's a relatively simple system, which I do expect in journaling RPGs. But again, just because you have a dice roll in your game doesn't mean that it's like a game. And I think that especially with some of the more popular solo journaling games that are at the top of the list, there seems to be a dice mechanic, and really all of it is like a page randomizer, and I need more than that, and it looks like this is going to give me more than that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through it a little bit, and then I'm just going to set up and play and then see what we think. Okay, so just some major bullet points here. First of all, this is a substantial book. It's about 90 pages. It has in the back lots and lots of quick reference tables, and it also has a very nice character sheet or cartographer sheet, as well as an easy to use rules reference. I also have the PDF, which is totally hyperlinked up. It's really impressive. Like even like clicking page 26 here will bring you to page 26. So this is one of those that if you want to snag the PDF of it, you can feel like there is something special about that. You know, like sometimes I feel like getting a PDF of a game is a bit of a loss because I'm like, this is not the real experience. But sometimes games in PDF are a lot more handy and a lot more accessible, especially if you're just not fully bought into the system yet. In this, you're going to play an explorer. This was, I believe, earlier this year, I think earlier this year, maybe almost up to a year ago now. This was successfully kickstarted. And this is something that is this is a game where you could see a lot of love and a lot of attention and a lot of intentionality in terms of the mechanics and a lot of play testing. And I can tell that because there is options and constraints, and I like both of those, but too much of one and not enough of the other cause problems in the game. When there's too many options and no constraints, I feel adrift, which I think probably is a pun here. Too many constraints and no options, I feel very pigeonholed. And so what this game does very well is it provides you some options, but it also says, you can do this if you want, but you must do this. For instance, one of the main mechanics of the game is, and it would be D6s, but just saying here, you'd roll the dice on the map, and the location of the dice indicates certain things as well as what the result is. And so it'll say, like, if you roll, if you're rolling, say, your coast is right here, and you roll like a forest, you can move it inland if you want, but you can't ignore the dice altogether. And I really like that. I really like when that is very explicitly stated, even though like we all know I can just ignore it. If I want, I could put mayonnaise on this book and eat it. But like, I know that, but there is something to be said for playing the game with rules as written, that I like being able to conform to those rules as written and finding success within that. There is a definitive cycle of play. In order to play, we need a pencil, check, an eraser, check, paper to draw on, or print out the blank map on page 86. Let's take a look at what that, just to get an idea here. This would be the blank map. Place to journal your notes and record your resources, a standard deck of playing cards, including jokers, and 6-sided dice. You need 3 of them. 3 to 4 of 3 different colors. And so what that's going to look like is 3 to 4 landmark dice, 3 to 4 biome dice, and 3 to 4 temporary dice. And as I was looking at this, and as I was getting more and more, giving a lot of, I see, the more I realized that this is most definitely a game that is going to work very well for the tabletop engineer laser printed playing board. Link below on how to get one for yourself. Surprisingly affordable is all I have to say. So if you're looking at this and being like, oh yeah, I wish I could afford a customized playing deck with my name and everything, I think you'd be surprised at what it costs. Although if I just sent a stampede of people over there, maybe the cost is going to go up a little. Apologies in advance. Act now. So we can keep the book right here, and I could open up the PDF if we want to. I don't think we need to encounter any ham just right now. But I have written on top, landmark dice are going to be white, temporary dice will be red, and biome dice will be black, 3 to 4 of each of them. I did roll up a cartographer, and there are tables for all of that. So my ex- historian is Jorma Adkar, and the value, which because we're gonna try to use the tag system rather than journaling, just because like we'll journal a little bit, but I'll probably talk about it rather than taking the time to write it down, just because I think it might be a little boring to watch me scribble on a paper for too long. But Jorma is a historian, and their value is love, and their disposition is focused. And their reputation, I just played through a little bit just to get an idea of it, starts at 0. Reputation is a little bit like inspiration in that it can be used to modify dice rolls. It also modifies the cost of items. So if you have a positive reputation, it will decrease the cost of items. And if you have a negative, it will increase it. So if something costs if something costs 3 and my reputation is -2, it's going to cost 5. And if my reputation is 2, it'll cost 1, down to 1. Then you have coin, wares, and food. And these are all abstracted resources. So yes, like it's not saying I have 1 food. I have 1 worth of food, 1 worth of money, 1 worth of ware. And wares are like things that you sell. You can carry up to the max of 5, whereas items are like consumables. And then you have wounds here. And the reason why the boxes for wounds and items are bigger is because you're not just like listing if you have them, you're writing a short sentence description of them. And then on the bottom, we have joker draws, black and red jokers. And as those come up, we check those off. And that is something that if I reach the max, could indicate the end of the game. There's a couple different things that could end the game. If I get too many wounds, if I complete the amount of landmarks I need to complete, etc. And the resource management is pretty simple, which I like, given that the focus on this is the creation of this fantasy map, which you could very well use in another game. But it's going to work like, if you run out of things and you can't compensate with something else, you reach a certain point where the game ends. But obviously there is an endless mode. In fact, I think it's called peaceful mode here. So the characteristics of my character, let's just check those out really quick. Let's roll a 3d6. Let's get an idea of what my character looks like. Okay, so we have 12, 15, wide pointed ears, and their appearance is intricate glasses. Okay, why don't we take a look at what that's going to seem here. So I'll give my guys some wide pointed ears. Those look like some nice pointed ears, right? And then glasses, let's do an outline of them. Will be like this. And we will say that there'll be braided glasses, like a wicker braid on the outside. And on the side of them they're very intricate. So we will say that, why don't we say intricacy-wise, why don't we say that they are glasses that are a wire frame made out of the numbers of pi, 3.14159. Okay, good. And other than that, we don't I guess I could roll more on here. Maybe I'll roll some more here. 8 plus 5, 13. Exotic hair color. Okay, let's do one more. 11, 13 again. Well, that's exotic hair color. What in the hell is going on here? 13 again. Okay, 8, 6, 14. Bulky, large frame. Okay, I like this. So this is kind of like a little bit of a out of shape, chubby elf. Well, not even. I don't even know what the hell this is. But it's clear that I have some pretty cool hair. And it's a real exotic color, like Well, these days, the exotic color would be like brown. All right, and okay. And he's got a bulky frame. So give him like a little beard here, I guess. Kind of like a cool, a guy who like delivers subs for Jimmy John's kind of look here. And yeah, he's a bit bulky, so maybe he's wearing like a parka hoodie a little bit here. And he looks like his name. Yeah, this is definitely a Jorma. So he's got like a little bit of a stomach here. That's pretty good, right? And yeah, so give it a little collar, the strings, parka, kind of a gut hanging over. Yeah, that looks good. That's Jorma. The opening scene, my voyage to the new land, was made by way of a oceanic guide. Okay, so I was on a boat and there was an oceanic guide, and this was somebody who 17310 had different colored eyes. Okay, so we'll say that who do I know that has different colored eyes? A cat. So this person's name was Cat, and they look like Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat 3, like that wide-brimmed razor hat. And she was like, I was like, hey, I'm motivated by love, and I'm very focused. And she said, come with me. I know. I'll bring you to a place. I said, I'm trying to prove to my lover that I'm worth it. Well, or not to my lover, the person who I want to love me. And she said, oh, I know a place that's undiscovered. You know how some people are like, yeah, I know undiscovered places, right? And so like, in a little boat here, just kind of comes up to the shore, and it's maybe a vessel you wouldn't take out on a pond, but this one we're going to go across the ocean in it. It says hop on in, right? This is Cat, and one of the eyes is this color and the other eye is that color, and I don't have any colors right now and I can't really see colors. So okay, so Cat takes me there on this beautiful skiff that's name is Jeff Silverbloom, the boat. And the journey was 3, perilous and rife with loss. What important thing was lost? Cat, at one point, Cat was like, I'll be right back, went into the water, and then just was gone. So I don't even know what the deal is. Like, maybe Cat will show up again, but I hope that she's okay. And I was looking at her. She seemed like she was not moving because I was able to see like her hat above water, but eventually the hat like came back to the boat and knocked on the side of it, and I lifted it up and the hat was gone. So in fact, I am going to just tie that hat around, and then I'll have that hat on my back. I'll just keep that with me. That'll be something that maybe I can use as an item or a wear at some point. All right. Resources wise. Oh, by the way, being a historian, I start with 1 extra landmark die and 1 less biome. So normally we would do 1 landmark and 3 biome, but instead I'm going to do 2 landmark and 2 biome. Actually, I'll put those here just so I can roll them. Yeah, that works. The land I came from, and this is just, I'm just reading off tables here. The land I came from was thriving yet small. Okay, so I came from a thriving yet small island, and let me just use this here to get an idea. See, if we had our deck that we're making, I'd be able to say like my tonsils were replaced by Pizza Hut. Okay, the island was named Elmer. So a small island named Elmer, where I really wanted to impress the love of my life, whose name is Kaylee. I really want to impress Kaylee from the island of Elmer, which was, it was very thriving, but it was small. And I decided to leave. Let's see if we could fit this into the love story, because my company asked me to take this expedition. So I work for a startup company called Trolley Taffy, which is trying to use trolleys to run in the manufacturing of taffy, right? So this company's like all across the country, all across Elmer. We have an old trolley system that's been out of use for so long. And these trolleys are very heavy. And meanwhile, we have these big bricks of sugary, gummy stuff. Our company proposes to save $6 trillion a year by running these old trolleys over this sweetened block of stuff and making it into taffy. And for every taffy we sell, we will smile at the elderly. And they said, look, they said we crowdfunded this on Kickstarter. We raised $1 million. And the thing is, we don't actually have anything. Like, we have trolleys, but we don't have these big cubes of the stuff that needs to be flattened into taffy. So you got to go out and find something for us. And I left behind, I left behind Kaylee, but I also left behind my loving family. And my family's name was Jeff, Daniel, actually 2 Daniels. So it was Jeff, Daniel, also called Jeff Daniels. And what else here? Characteristics we did, the opening scene. Okay, so my reputation starts at 0, and wounds-wise, I have 3 wound slots. And if your cartographer must take a wound and has no slots to do so, they perish. And coin is a numerical abstraction of wealth and currency, maximum of 5 wares. I could sell them at settlements. Food is nourishment. Items are significant boons. And we want to make a map. Okay, this part I think is good to read. When writing journal entries, try to keep things brief, no more than a paragraph. If you find the journaling aspect to be tiresome, a sentence can be plenty, or on 42, there's the non-authoring rules. When responding to prompts, we should consider the reputation of your cartographer, the wounds they've sustained, the places they've been, the mechanical reward of the prompt, and the people they've met. These things can offer narrative context. Whenever you visit a location, you'll be prompted with a prompt. You'll be presented with a prompt. These prompts aim to give you a starting point in detailing the location. After the questions, most prompts will display a mechanical effect. This is generally gaining or losing resources, but some are different. Some offer you a choice between 2 effects. If you can't fulfill the conditions of a choice, you can't select it. For example, if your choice is lose 1 food and gain 3 biome dice, but you didn't have any food to lose, you can't take that one. Some prompts may give a benefit or detriment when the next specified phase occurs. This only happens once and occurs the very next phase. If there's prompts for biome dice and you're already in a biome, there's sub-biome. And I guess there is, you form this dice pool, you roll it directly onto the map, and that's how the map gets filled out. And so the game ends when your cartographer must take a wound and has no slots to do so, or you draw the 3rd joker, you run out of dice. Or you could name 10 locations and 1 complete coastline, or completely close an island with at least 5 named locations. And you can adjust this. It says 6 locations for a short game, 15 for a long one. We'll try 1 or 2. And these are the principles. And so now we are going to move into how to play. So I think the best way to do this is I'll just kind of reset the board here. And I tape down this little sheet here, probably half as much of the sheet that you want to use, but because we're kind of doing a short game, we will use this space, and when we'll roll the dice, see where they land, start drawing it, and we'll draw prompts from there. Now, the one thing that I do want to say is because I'm kind of going to be doing a little bit like I'm going to be talking out the journal entries, but I do like the tag system, and then in non-authoring mode, the skill tests. When your cartographer attempts something with an uncertain outcome, make a skill test. As you play, these situations often arise from prompts. If you feel the need to perform a skill test at other parts throughout play, feel free to do so. But it should never take skills during your rest phase, and it should never change the mechanical benefits from rest actions. This is important for balance of the game. Love that. Love statements like that. I like to know that balance is considered. Generally, you'll be taking skill tests when considering how your cartographer reacts to certain elements of the story. And you make a skill test by just rolling a 1d6. 6 is succeed, 5 to 4 is succeed, but with complication. 3 to 2 is fail with a situation change, and 1 is an utter failure with complication. There's some outcome tables. Here's like peaceful mode. We're not going to do that right now. Different ways to hack the system, integrating with other RPGs. This is so cool, man. What a great setup here. This is like what I, in a lot of ways, have always wanted from a journaling game. I want there to be things that make me want to journal. They don't make me journal. They make me want to journal. They invite me to journal. So I really like this. Okay, so we're going to set things up. I'll pull up the PDF on screen so we could follow along, just to get the book out of the way. But let's begin. And if we encounter anything that bears explanation, we'll go over it. All right. Oh, I think this is probably a good thing to just explain. The cycle of play, 3 phases: exploration, arrival, and rest. And during exploration phase, you're going to actually roll the dice out, usually trying to get them close together, and wherever they fall on the paper, if they fall off, you re-roll. And anywhere that the landmark dice fall, which are the white dice, we'll draw like a little bit of coastline around it, no more than a few centimeters. If you fully surround the die, it's an island. And then we go to the exploration table and sketch the map based on like the result that comes up. Shift it around a little bit if you need to. And then you bring the dice back to the dice pool. As you draw the map, you like pull the dice up. And then you have the arrival phase where you embody the cartographer and go, okay, now like where do I want to go? So you choose one of the locations. If it's not close to your current location, you lose a food by traveling there. And we can either choose a landmark or a whole biome. There's special things too, like if say you have something like a mountain that falls here and a mountain that falls here, it now becomes a mountain range. Or like I think a lake and a lake becomes a river. It's a really cool system. It's really mechanically really slick. And then draw a card from the deck, look at the journey table, write a short sentence or two answering the prompt of describing the journey. That's for travel. And then you look at the location table and respond to the prompt for the drawn card, write a sentence describing, and remember to journal from the point of view of the cartographer, and then name the location on your map. There's name generators on page 70 onward. And then on the rest phase, you lose all temporary dice in your dice pool. If you gained any temporary dice from your last prompt, you keep those dice. These are temporaries. Lose any 1 remaining die from your dice pool. Lose any 1 remaining die. Okay. If you're at a settlement, roll a die and have the result to determine the value of wares at this location. Some settlements are more interested in buying your stuff than others. You should always round up when determining ware values and select 2 different actions from the appropriate action list. Depending on where they end up, different actions. You may lose 1 coin to take a 3rd action. And then these are rest phase actions that you can do, and they have them divided into settlement and wilderness. And jokers, these are different things that happen when you draw joker cards, and you have to keep track of those because that could be the end of the game. And here's a little bit of an example. So, all right, now we'll start. I'm going to do a quick pencil sharpen. Okay, so I think the best place to keep our ribbon here is at the tables. We're going to be referring to those pretty often. Let me see here if I could just open up the preview without getting to, yeah, that'll work. And so, well, maybe I'll bring that up to as I'm referring to things. But can I just say, I'm kind of excited right now because this actually, and I'm not even cheesing just because I am reviewing the game. I feel pretty excited right now because this game is more fully realizing what I thought a solo RPG could be. And I didn't quite, I'm sorry, a solo journaling RPG. I mean, it's in a lot of ways pretty awesome as just a solo RPG period, but it's making me feel like, yes, this is what I thought I was getting into the first time I picked up a solo journaling RPG. And the weird part was I was never able to define what was missing, but I always knew that there was something missing. And I think that it just comes down to, in a lot of journaling games, I just never felt like there was enough gamification. And I felt like sometimes the methods of attempting to gamify the journaling games felt frivolous. Not to like call any out, but I especially feel that way about like the what is it, Breathless or Wretched and Alone, the ones that use like a Jenga tower, the ones that the mechanic is just like randomizing the page number through dice rolls. I just didn't feel like that was it was an experience, but it just didn't feel like a game experience. This feels like a game experience here. Now let's see what it feels like when we put it together, but so far so good. So the first thing that we're gonna do here, well, I'm trying to be cute. Gotta stop trying to be cute. There we go. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our dice, and again, I have written on the top that the white dice are landmarks and the black are biome, and normally it would be 3 biome, 1 landmark, but because I'm a historian, I get 1 less biome, 1 more landmark. Now they recommend it in a cup. Let's see what that does. Okay, I'm just gonna spread these out. Oh man, I think like that also emptied some pencil shavings. 1 second. Those are actually better than pencil shavings. Those were actually Smarties. I think I had Smarties or Valentine's hearts in there, which I need to maybe grow up. Okay, let's get a little bit more of a spread though. All right, gonna move that in just a little bit. And biome, landmark. And so the first thing we got to do with the landmark dice is draw a little bit of a coast around them. And probably here we can link the coast together like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take a look at the tables. I'm just going to pull them from here this time first. And as far as the landmark dice, a 1 is nothing, and a 2 is an encampment. The biome, 6 is same as closest biome, same as closest biome. So I guess I'll re-roll one of these here for open land. Okay, so we have open land, nothing, and an encampment. All right, so I think what I would probably do, and I don't know if that's the right choice, but give just the coast a little bit of jagged character here. And this is all we're going to fill in coast-wise. Like, we don't want to go overboard because also we're going to, at some points, I guess, extend the coast. But just because this feels cool and because I'm the boss, give it like a little bit of shading here. Okay. And this is going to be open land. And this is also going to be open land. So I guess as far as travel goes, I know that, oh, for goodness sake, pencil shavings everywhere. So as far as the first travel phase goes, normally I would go from where I started to where I'm going and like draw a dotted line. But because we haven't gone anywhere yet, we'll say that we'll start our adventure here at this open land. And it's pretty vague when you start, and it will give more definition as we get closer. And so what we'll do, we should also look at the weather table is for journeys. So we'll wait until we have journeys. Oh, wait a minute. One of these was an encampment. That's where I'm going to start. My apologies. So it recommends some different drawings, like an encampment is, bring it a little closer here. So an encampment looks like just like a little village or something like that. So I forgot that I rolled an encampment. Okay. So we'll do a small encampment, and that's where we'll start. So again, if we pull 3 of the same colored jokers, the journey comes to an end. But if we pull like 2 black and 1 red, that doesn't count. It has to be 3 red jokers or 3 black. Okay, so let's pull a card here. And we have a 4, and it's black. So 4, an occupied cave housing an impoverished people. What do you do to help them lose any amount of food and gain that many temporary dice? You know, normally I would not be able to do this because I would feel really bad, but I am a historian. And so being a historian, I'm just going to make like a little cave entrance here. Being a historian, I know a couple of things. Number one is I don't know these people, and I don't want to presume. I don't want to have the thing of like, oh, these poor things, I have to come help them. And so I don't know the culture yet. I don't know the people yet, and I don't have a lot of resources for myself. So unfortunately, I am going to not give any food. And maybe if I get a better lay of the land here and get more comfortable here, I can come back and help them out. But certainly me giving up my food right now could result in me dying, and it will only, help them. If it's a whole encampment, it's probably not going to help that much. So I also will not gain any temporary dice. Now, there is this quick reference sheet in the back that we can go to. And actually, I'll bring that up on the screen here. What do you think? I'm cruel? I know I'm cruel. In the back, there should be a rules reference. Very nice. Okay, so we rolled our dice. We marked the coastlines. We consulted the exploration tables. And now we're returning the dice to the dice pool. And also, we're starting a discard pile. So I'll just put that over here for now. And now we go to the arrival phase, where we choose a location, and we would lose 1 food if it's not the closest one, but we started there. We drew a card. We don't have to consult the journey table. We didn't journey. We consulted a location table, and then we're going to name the location on the map. And the naming tables, let's see if we can find naming tables in the book here. Hunting, wounds, wares, people. We're going to find, just from our observations, what we can find about the encampment. 6:11. This encampment is called Stone. What is that? 7:13. Stone Path. All right, so we will say, I'll just put a little name on top of it here, Stone Path. And let's see if we can find out the region name. We'll do that when we get to the open biome, actually. But let's see if we can find anything out about the people here, because there is a people table. And maybe this will change my calculation. So 12, they're nomadic. That makes sense. And their descriptor, 12, 5, 17, many-legged. Okay. 2, 3, 5 architects. All right, so we have some impoverished, many-legged architects that are nomadic, and they're living in a cave. So I don't know. Maybe they're just not the best architects, not because they're living in a cave. Like, I'm not saying they couldn't build anything better for themselves, but maybe they tried to open up an architecture firm and it just didn't go well, and so they're going back to their roots. They're trying to find, the what does nature have to say? What does Mother Nature have to say about architecture? And now 6 + 2, 8. They keep a menagerie of domesticated creatures. Okay, so these many-legged people, they keep a menagerie of two-legged pets. This doesn't mean that they have like humans there, but they have like whatever a sort of pet here. We'll call it the two-legged stompies. And these creatures they have 2 legs, and then the top of their body, it just looks like a pill or a tombstone. And they have something that looks like they're frowning all the time, but they smile with their eyes. That is terrifying. So they're walking around going, kill me, kill me. But you look at their eyes and they go, oh, that's it. They see, in our language, that sounds like kill me. But to them, they must be very happy. And they're like, no, we're not happy. Kill us, please. And we move on. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if I'm not at a settlement. I'm at an encampment. So I don't think that rest actions apply. But we would lose all temporary dice, which we don't have anyways. And if at a settlement, we determine where values, I have to also lose one other die. So I will lose a biome die. And then we are going to perform 2 different rest actions, and I can spend 1 coin to get an additional one. But as far as rest actions go, I would do wilderness rest actions because I am in an encampment, which is not a settlement. So I can camp, lose 1 food. That would be kind of cruel, and gain a biome die. I can converse, lose 1 wear or coin, gain 1 temporary die. Or I can hunt, roll die, and gain that much food, lose 1 die. I think I need some food. So maybe if I give some food, I can get a temporary die. And I'm not sure if I'm going about this in like the right order of operations, but we'll just see. So I'm going to roll die. I'm going to hunt, and 3. So I rolled that much. I roll 3, and I'm going to lose 1 die, but I have gained 3 food, which I think is a significant upgrade here. And so my food is going to go up to 4. And now my question is, like, can I still interact with the people here? Can I still benefit from what was offered? And I will say, you know what? Why not? I think that if I'm looking at the arrival phase here, or I guess we should actually go to the arrival tables. Oh, the encampment. Town prompts, encampment, journey table, exploration table. Okay, so if I was at a black encampment, I pulled up a 4, an occupied cave housing an impoverished people. What do you do to help them? Okay. So yeah, I think that this would not be something that I would be able to do retroactively. But since it's my first one, I'm going to give myself a little break. and I'm going to say that I'm going to share one food with them, and I'm going to converse with them. And that's where I learned that they were these architects. And I'm actually going to pull out the Newell dice. By the way, I talked to Tower House Creative, and they said they got something they're cooking up, hopefully. That's going to come out maybe early next year. So looking forward to that, and just get an idea of what this conversation's like. So we have a skull and a heart, and if we look at the Newell dice, our little reference guide with it, let's see, there we go. The skull and the heart. So I already have a sense of what this could probably mean. I just like looking at the inputs of this. So the skull means hostile, chaotic. The heart is friendly and welcoming. And it would say, might be crazy or have a hair trigger, might laugh as it pulls a weapon. What I think is that they were chased out of where they lived, and because they were architects, they kept escaping to places that were really architecturally beautiful. And so they finally figured out that they had to go somewhere that was like the absolute opposite of an architectural wonder, which would be a cave, to hide from this predator. And then maybe I asked them, what's the deal? Who's this people following you? And they just get very quiet. They don't want to say anything. All right, so then it is now the next day, and I think now we're going to start back over again. We can perform another rest action. So we did hunt, and we did converse. So I will, you know what? Instead of losing a wear or a coin, I'll gain one temporary die from conversing and giving food. Again, not quite the rules, but I think that is the best idea here. And then we set out the next day. Now, I know that I've lost a die, but we did gain a temporary die. All right, so that should help us with today's roll. And let's give it a shot here, and then we'll decide where we want to go. All right, so landmark is white. So I'm just stretching that out just a little bit there, so it's a little further from the stone path. The biome 4, and this one we can decide whether it's a landmark or a biome. Since we already have the open land here, I'm going to make this into a landmark. And then let's see what we got. So first of all, because this is a landmark, this coast already works for that. But down here, I'm going to make a coast. I'll make a coast out of you yet. So I'll make a coast down there. And that is a 4. And if we go to the tables here. That's the most basic table at the front. That's right. So a 4 for landmark is a city. Okay, so I'm going to make that. We don't know what kind of city it is yet, so I'm just going to make some buildings here. That's a city. And then the biome, that is a 4. That, again, is going to be open land. So now this is just a larger space of open land here. And this 3 landmark is a town. So that's a little bit smaller. So maybe if we go to this nearby town, we can find out the people who are bothering the 4-legged creatures, which I think now would be a good time to figure out what these people are called. There was something I found. Yeah. Maybe we'll use the region names to figure out the name of those people. So we'll do 10 is T, 6 is tear, 5 is Terran. Okay, so these are the Terran. The Terran peoples are staying here in the Stone Path Cave. And I think we're going to go to the town. Now, it's the next one over, and so we're not going to have to use food, but we will be taking a journey. And because of that, we can use the journey table to figure out what happens on the way there. This is very good. I'm enjoying this. I don't know about all you, but I'm like, this feels like we're playing a damn game here. You know what I mean? Okay, so when consulting the journey table, you may wish to know what the weather is like. Sure. And so even though this sort of like, to use this table, determine the descriptor from the suit on the top card in your discard pile, then determine the weather from your newly drawn card. So the weather is going to be spades is humid, and the discard pile, I believe, is clubs. Yeah, and it's like stuck to the table. So we'll just say it's humid and it's going to storm. All right. And the journey-wise, let's pull this card here. A 5 of clubs. And so I guess it's regardless of it. So I gain a coin. You meet a fellow traveler and they tell you a rumor. So we'll add a coin. And this traveler I'm trying to figure out like what which one would be best. Oh, people table. Here we go. All right, so this person is going to be 5'9", an inquisitive, 11, horned, 13, explorer. Okay, so an inquisitive horned explorer. So maybe they say,
"Ah, on the path, I see. Where are you headed?"
And I say, oh, well, we're just kind of going north. We heard there's a town up there. They said,
"Ah, yes, a town. Oh, yes, I've been there. Tell me, what else have you found?"
And I say, well, not much, just a cave. And they say,
"A cave? Anything interesting about this cave?"
I say, well, there's some four-legged unemployed architects there that need some help. And they say, interesting. And they ask a bunch of questions. And then I say, well, where are you coming from? And they say,
"Well, wouldn't you like to know?"
And they walk away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we just got like poached of information. And we didn't even realize it. And then I guess they chuck a coin at our face. Let's give them a name, though. What do you say? Every good inquisitive horned explorer deserves a name. I need to go back to the table of contents here because I can't read these. So I just want to get to this town, and then I'll give my final impression of things here. Names, people table. I would think that the names. Let me. All right, so it looks like the name table with the cartographer will be the one. So 5, 10. Timkins. I love that. Okay, so Timkins, a horned explorer who's very inquisitive, and they're not giving up any of their information to me, the jerk, but they throw a coin at me. What do they think? They're better than me? Now, that definitely doesn't mean that I'm not going to pick that coin right up from the ground and put it in my pocket. And so I say there's a storm. Good thing that we're able to reach this town. And as far as the town goes, let's do a town prompt. I think probably Yeah, here we go. We want to find a town name. This will give us an idea to embody it. 6-8 column for Callamborough. Okay. Yet another thing that sounds like some dumb New England name or Pennsylvania. Callamborough. And the town is going to have a prompt. So this is good because I wanted to get to a prompt. Town prompts. All right, so let's draw. Oh, let's put these back. These aren't in my pool. Okay, 7. So it's a black town prompt. And it is, this town is unwelcoming to strangers. What do you hear overspoken about you? Lose one action in the next rest phase. What do I hear overspoken about me? Now, you know what would be really good here is, and this is something I'm not certain, I haven't seen it yet, but this might be it. I need like some open-ended oracle. This looks like the closest we're gonna get. So this looks good though. We can use this. So I overhear them talking about me. And in fact, I would probably, if I'm playing this game, this is something I just known, I would keep a 4th set of dice, unbelievably, to serve as my oracle dice. So 10, 14, offend, 6, 10, open. Okay, so let's just say that I walk in, I open the gates up, and they gasp. And like the gate was unlocked, but I hear people saying, you know, that this was a prophecy that said that some rude, wild-haired person with pointy ears was going to come one day and totally offend everyone in the town. And they're just getting pre-offended. So this definitely is New England. And so I walk in and everyone's looking at me like I just squeaked out a stinky fart. And I am not feeling welcome there at all. Okay, at all. And now that I'm in it, I'm in the town. What happened here? I don't know why I can't just 7. Oh, this one's red. Sorry. Okay, so I lose one action in my next rest phase. And so I'm only able, well, unless I pay, I'm only able to take one action. But why don't I converse? I'll lose a coin. I gain a temporary die. Because I'm going to lose my temporary die when I arrive. And I name the location. I lost my temporary die. I have to lose another die. And, I have to roll a 1d3. 1d3. Oh, I have a 1d3. I bought a 1d3 the other day. And as you know, it is a solo role-playing rule that if you have the right die, you should always use it. This is a little 1d3 I got. And so 3. The wares are 3. My reputation 0. So that means the wares are going to be 3. And it's important to know for this that the price is relevant to both buying and selling. So if the wares have a high price, I don't really want to buy anything, but I'd be happy to sell something if I had it, which I only have 1. So I could sell a ware. Oh, if it at Encampment, the ware value is 1. Damn it. Oh, I see. If at a settlement, it's 1d3, and Encampment, it's 1. Darn. So I should have known that at the Encampment, you can get wares there as well. But we're at a settlement, right? Because the town is a settlement. Oh, this is kind of weird, though. I'd have to read this, but a settlement, a city, a town, an encampment. But I have to assume that towns are also settlements. Yeah, because it says settlement rest actions. If at a city or a town, draw 3 cards. Let me try shopping. So I draw 3 cards. I'm not at a city, so I draw 3 cards and I roll dice for each card to determine price. This is so cool, man. All right, so then we go to the item table on 52. And what am I? Have all black cards in this deck? What the hell is going on? So I have an 8, a 2, and a 3. So I have a specific implement, which gains the bonus of any available specialization, costs 2 more coin. Ah, this is so cool. A potion and an adornment, which would give me 4 reputation. That's awesome. And then for each of these, I would just roll and see what the price of that is. And these are items, right? Like these are items are like big boons, and I can buy one of them. And then if I conversed, I'd lose a coin, but I'd gain a temporary die. So we'll just say I did that. And since I'm in town, I gain +1 temporary die. But again, this is where I really would want just like an open-ended oracle. Is there anything like a conversation oracle? That would be really, really nice. Let me just do a quick search of the document here. See if I can find conversation. Okay, nothing with conversation. Converse. 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 So nothing there. I would say that maybe that is the one thing, and again, I could just be missing it here, but I do feel like that's one thing that would be really cool to have, like a conversation generator, and maybe I can come up with one of those as like a little adjustment. Yeah, I'm looking at all the tables here. I'm not seeing like this thing's given a lot. And so a conversation generator, maybe that's where, as a usually not playing solo journaling, maybe if you play a lot of journaling tables or journaling games, it's just assumed that that kind of stuff is going to flow out of the top of your dome. But for me, being used to more of a mechanical skill testing thing, I'm looking for these kind of oracles. And so even having a very simple input oracle, right? If it said like switching candle or like switching old candle, I could be like, oh, okay, so this person works at a church and they're not like a priest, but they're the person that kind of sets up the services every morning, and they have to switch out all the candles in the little place where people like kneel and say prayers and stuff like that. And so that kind of stuff I think would give some nice prompts for journaling, and wouldn't leave people sort of hanging, I guess, if you're a person that has a hard time just like coming up with stuff. But again, you could use those people generators, and you can see. So if I was going to converse with somebody, I can roll up somebody's name, and I can also do this random traits thing. And I think this would probably give me a lot here. Just say 6, 11. They smell of a distinct food. So I could say, okay, I'm talking to this guy. He smells like corn dogs, and he's got corn dog sticks sticking out of his teeth, etc. Okay, I think it's probably pretty obvious by now that I really enjoy this, and I'm gonna give it, um, I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 waffles, and um, the I would like to see a little bit of an expanded Oracle input table. That's probably 1 waffle. And the other waffle is that, like, it's not exactly my cup of tea. But given that solo journaling games are not my cup of tea, the fact that it's an 8 out of 10, if you are somebody who's interested in journaling, if you're somebody who loves making maps, if you're somebody that is that enjoys using games to sort of Tetris together, like you want to have a system for creating a map, I think this game goes it really, as we'd say, kicks out of its coverage. In 90 pages, I had more fun playing this game than I have some games that are 300 pages. This is excellently put together. It shows what happens when you take your damn time and play test and really think critically about the mechanics of a game. I find myself admiring this. I find myself like learning for a future game that I make the importance of finding balance that works and thinking about the player experience rather than just saying, this is what happens on this page. This is what happens on this page. This is what happens on this page. This feels coherent. It feels complete. And I am going to turn off the camera now and I'm going to keep playing it. So Brandon, thanks for sending this to me. Make sure you keep us posted about any future developments for this. I can see this as definitely something that would create a box set that has some interesting, you could make an interesting box set out of this. I'm thinking of like standees or tokens or something like that to represent different towns, or I don't even know. I mean, you have so much creativity here. I'm excited to see what you think of. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know that somebody had said that they had played this game before, and I'm just curious to see what other people think. But other than that, I love you all. Is that too much? I love you all. Gosh, I always go like just a little too far, you know? I should have just said like, I like you all. That's weird too. Should have been like, hello.